A question I'm getting right now is incredibly important to the economy now. Is there an escape from the high prices and old units that are just not making sense anymore? In San Diego, you got $1 million duplex that's 65 years old with no modern conveniences whatsoever unless you put them in. Come on, give me a break. You put 40% down, you might break even. The expenses almost become half of the income after a while. Makes no sense. The one-car garage in the middle does a great job of separating for privacy the two units in the duplex. But I had a friend put a F-150 inside that garage recently, and he didn't want to get out, but if he wanted to get out, he would have had to go through the roof. It's silly. So how do you do it? What you do is you sell your duplex, whatever unit you have in a market like San Diego's, and there's many of them, and you tax-deferred exchange, called a 1031 in the IRS code, and you defer any taxes owed from the profit you're making, which should be humongous, and into my new group. Now, my new group is meant to take in people like that, not just normal investors, but people who are 1031 tax deferring into something that they want no hands-on responsibilities. They're tired of management. And don't get me started on management. In 54 years, I've got one manager I trust, and that's in Texas. And if she told me it was going to snow in Death Valley in the middle of August at noon, I'd grab my parka and go. All right? Now, here's the deal. In investment real estate, the price interest rate problem we have now is simply called supply demand. The supply is still there. The demand is being killed off one investor at a time because they can't qualify for the loan, or they don't have 50 to 60% down. I'm not making that up, because they couldn't qualify for more. All right? That's horrible, and they don't know what to do. They feel trapped. So what I'm telling people is sell the property. You're going to have a hard time selling it, but tax defer the proceeds into my new group, because now you'll still get credit for a tax deferred exchange just as if you traded it into another real property. All right? Now, something I'm finding in these markets is that they're hitting income increases that is good for current owners. But the current owners see that as, oh, I get to raise the price now. And that's just adding to the problems of people who want to invest in that market for the worst reason ever, because, we live there. I want to be able to drive by my property. I don't want to be cruel here, but raise your hand if you know enough about investment real estate to call yourself an expert. And I know people think they've learned a lot, and you have. I've got 3 digits worth of clients. I've got about 20 that I would say are legit experts. They just don't, and 3 of them live in San Diego, and they haven't been in San Diego's market for years now. And they are so happy they moved out when they did. But if you're in Oregon, if you're in Washington, if you're in the Northeast with some high-priced properties, get out. Places like Idaho, but not anymore. I got into Idaho in 2004 when it was $200,000 to $425,000, $50,000 for 2 to 4 units, sometimes only houses. And those same units are now selling for 650 to about 1.2 million. Now, that's a rise in price and equity. And people want to do that, but they can't do that now, not in Idaho. Utah, same thing. Texas, same thing. Texas, years ago, 250,000 for a brand new duplex. Well, now they're selling for 5.25 to 650. You got to put a hat on it and understand what the real values are, what you can really do with the current interest rates. What makes sense is what those answers are going to tell you. And it's over and out the only thing that matters. What makes common sense? And just because you love the market means nothing. It's a hill of beans information that you're going to take to your grave as you kept holding it and watched your money disappear. Now, with the money we raise in this group, we're going to places like Park City, Utah, property across the street from the ski lift. You think that's going to be in demand? You think we're going to make a profit when we build condos there to replace the cruddy little apartments? We're going to be in Tennessee, where you can buy unzoned land. I almost fell over when I found unzoned land, and I found out it wasn't unique, that it's all over the place, especially in Knoxville, where I live now. And I called up an engineer who is third generation in his family as an engineer, so he knows what's up. He says, "Oh, yeah, we have that." I said, "Well, how long does it take to get it zoned to build condos?" He says, "Well, you got to prove that's a good move." I said, "Well, it looks like there's 2 to 5 year old condos on the right side down the street, same thing down the street on the left side." He goes, "Fine, you can do it." Well, how long will it take to do that? And he starts out with, "Well, it's going to take a while." And I'm, "Oh, come on, don't start with that." And he says, "Well, it'll take 90 to 120 days to get it rezoned completely, and then you're ready to break ground." And I almost put coffee out my nose. Okay? It takes 90 days to get your phone call returned in California on zoning. So what we've done is we've taken property that makes sense in Park City, in southern Utah, in Idaho, and done these fixers and got out at the right time. You can't do it. You can't do it there anymore. Texas, we went in there at 250. They're now 5.25 and 650. Can't do it much anymore. Now, if the interest rates, and we have gotten good news on Texas interest rates, we found a lender that will fix a rate at 5.25 for 10 years based on a 30-year amortization without going up. I'll do that for clients. I will not do 5-year loans. Will not do 5-year loans. Don't ask me. But a 10-year loan, that's an entire length of time in a economy, and you're going to see everything that can happen in an economy, usually 90% of the time, within 10 years. And what you can do during that time is refinance. I have people now with under 4% loans in Texas because they refinanced. In Idaho, same reason. In Utah, same reason. In San Diego, it just made it less horrible. Sorry, but that's just the way it is. Now, what really is the best way to do it is that if you can defer income into a group like this, you have found nirvana, because now you have two professionals that are taking care of business. They're deciding what to buy. They're deciding when to sell, what it needs to do do to what we need to do to it to get a high enough value to make sense. And all you're doing is making easy decisions. Do you want in now still, or do you want out? If you only want out for the profit, okay, you'll pay whatever profit you take. If you want a little of the principal too, you'll have to see where your profit is based on your basis. Okay? But this has created an option for real estate investment owners that they have never had until recently, relatively speaking. And if you can take advantage of this right now, you are going to be in the driver's seat.